I'm going to be making some meatballs today, and these are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. Start off with the main ingredient, which is 2 pounds of ground meat, and what I'm using today is Primal blend, which is a combination of ground beef, ground liver, and ground heart. And I think it's the tastiest ground beef I've ever had. Add some seasoned pork rinds to that, and I'm using pasture-raised organic eggs and whole cream and some shredded cheese. So I will gather exactly what I need and come back and get started here. I'm going to be using my stand mixer today to mix up the meat and everything for the meatballs. And besides being faster and easier to mix everything together, the thing I like most about using the stand mixer is that it's a lot less cleanup. I do everything in this one stainless steel bowl and have very little cleanup after it's all done. So basically it's the cleaning the stainless steel bowl, the mixing paddle, and a few containers that I use for the materials. Now you can easily spend $500 for a stand mixer. And that was definitely out of my budget. But I found this one on Amazon, and I believe I paid about $125 for it. Unfortunately, Amazon does not sell this model anymore. So I wasn't able to find it, but I did find a similar product, and I've listed it in the description along with the other items I'm using today. So right now I'm just going to put everything in this stainless steel container and we're going to get going. So I start off with my 2 pounds of Primal blend, which I buy at Whole Foods. And Eel River is the brand name, and they're a US based company, and they sell really high quality meat. So I start off with that. And then I have 4 eggs. So that's 2 pounds of ground meat. And you can use, sometimes I use some like odd Italian sausage for one of the pounds, or I might use some ground venison. But at any rate, you want 2 pounds of ground meat of some sort or another. And then 4 eggs. I just drop in there. Now, if I were to do this by hand, I would beat these eggs first. But when you mix them like this with the stand mixer, you don't really have to. You just get everything into the one container. That's 2 eggs. Okay, there's 4 eggs total. And then I add a cup of shredded cheese, a cup of my seasoned, cup of seasoned pork rinds, a half heavy cream. Next I add my condiments. I have some black pepper here, and I'm just going to put in about 2 teaspoons of that. Some Himalayan salt, again about 2 teaspoons of that. Montreal Steakhouse seasoning, I'll just do about 1 teaspoon of that. And garlic powder, and this organic garlic powder, and I find that there's almost never too much garlic, so I probably put in about 4 teaspoons of this. And then I have some Gulden's brown mustard that I like to add. I'll just do a good glob of that. And some low carb barbecue seasoning, and I'm using Stubbs Original, which I really like. It's not totally zero sugar, but it is only about 4 or 5 grams of sugar and or carbs, and what I'm going to pour in here. So it's relatively low, and it gives it a really nice flavor. So now I've got everything in the one bowl, and I simply put it over here in the stand mixer, lock the bowl in place, and I'll turn this around so you can see it a little better. And we just move the lever, and now let the stand mixer do its job. So I set the mixer itself aside, and as you can see, we have a nice blend in here in the stainless steel container, and there's some mixture still on the paddle, which is easy to remove. I'm just going to do that very quickly, and then we can set the paddle aside. So now I'm just going to start forming some meatballs. And I like to do the meatballs because it gives me greater latitude on how much I prepare for a particular meal or a snack. And sometimes I just want something really light and fast, and I'll just reheat 1 meatball. Other times, if I'm a little more hungry, I might do 2 or 3. This is probably the most time-consuming and difficult part of the process, and it's not a big deal at all. Now, obviously, you could also just make burgers out of this if you wanted to, but I find the meatballs suit my needs better. We're going to have enough of these that I'm going to have to cook them in 2 batches. The next part of the process is to cook these in my air fryer, and I set the temperature to 390, and that may be a little high. I know some people typically do it like 360 to 380, but I find I really like 390. I like the way it turns out. And I'm going to set my timer for about 15 minutes. Actually, I'm going to set it for 8 minutes, and then I will turn them over and do another 8 minutes on the other side. Also, you know, a lot of people use paper liner in here, and I have found I get a much better result if I just put it directly on the rack. So I have a nice rack in there, and that's what I'm going to use. And it is a little harder to clean when it's all done, but I find the result to be much nicer. So I'm just going to spread these out in there. Again, a lot of people tell you not to let them touch each other, but I find that it's not really that critical. It's not that big a deal if they're touching a little here and there. So I'm just going to get this started, and we'll come back in 8 minutes and flip them over. Okay, we've gotten through our first 8 minutes, and now I'm ready to turn them. And you can see that even though I didn't have perfectly round meatballs when I put them in, they're still cooking just fine. And when they're done, I think you'll see they look just fine. I generally want to do things as quick and easy as I can. And this works really well. Also want to take a minute just to point out here that I scraped down the bowl with a spatula and got most of it out, so you can see how easy this is going to be to clean. I'll just set that on the side for now, and I will finish turning these over. We'll do another 8 minutes and we'll come back after that. Okay, it's been a total of 16 minutes now that they've been cooking. I think you'll see they're really nice looking meatballs. And like I said, even though I didn't have them perfectly round to begin with, they're fine for me. They serve my purpose, and I don't need them to be perfectly round to be happy with them. So anyway, this is my process for making meatballs, and it's relatively fast and easy, and like I said, with using the stand mixer, it really very little cleanup involved. So I think that's about it. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you'll tune in for some future episodes of Growing Young and other recipes and things that I typically cook. My diet is basically carnivore, which is at the core beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And recently I have added some cottage cheese to my diet just for a little variety. But basically it's a very simple diet, and but it's extremely satisfying, and I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life as a result of it. So I'm a very strong advocate of the carnivore diet. It may not be perfect for everyone, but it definitely has helped me. So thanks again for watching, and I hope I see you again in some future episodes.